You are about to see the most incredible doll ever invented. Her name is Poppy, and she is the first truly intelligent doll in the world. A little girl can talk to her. Poppy gives her answers. She is the first doll actually able to have a conversation with a child. Hard to believe? Just watch.
Poppy Playtime is a horror game developed and published by Mob Entertainment and released on October 12th of 2021. Five Nights at Freddy's set off a slew of mascot horror games. There were a lot of fan games, a lot of games with unoriginal ideas, and a lot of games that were diving into obvious creepy themes and targeted weird children motifs. Poppy Playtime seems like it was just another one of these horror games with big fluffy characters about creepy kid toys. Well, it sort of is, but it's done really well. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was also released in December of 2021, so the horror train was chugging along around this time, which only jump-started Poppy Playtime into a world of success. The unnamed protagonist starts off at the entrance of Playtime Co., a factory that has a popular line of children's toys. As you make your way through the colorful hallways, you realize things are a bit off since there are blood-soaked toys flopped in the corners and the place seems completely abandoned. A giant version of the toy Huggy Wuggy comes to life and chases you around the building the deeper you get into it. This first chapter is very short, only lasting a couple hours for first-time plays and under an hour during revisits, but sells the concept of the game and the lore really well. The design of the characters are excellent and the gameplay is simple yet inventive and effective.
Poppy Playtime! Poppy is as lovable as a real girl, and she talks like one too.
The game relies on you solving puzzles with a contraption called a grab pack, a backpack with two hands that you can shoot out to reach hard-to-reach items or pull far-away switches. Using this mechanic to wrap yourself around electricity poles to solve puzzles feels great and is clever. The juxtaposition of childlike attractions like clowns, happy music, and toys, and giving them a scary twist is overdone. But Poppy Playtime is one of those ones that just sort of stuck the landing with its approach and overall design. Giving cute things creepy faces is annoying and gets repeated ad nauseum, but the potency here with Huggy Wuggy is pretty iconic. The game's memorable theme music will also get stuck in your head and is instantly recognizable. While Poppy Playtime relies on a lot of tropes, it is able to distinguish itself from the horror pack rather easily. I give Poppy Playtime a 6.5 out of 10. Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 is a horror game developed and published by Mob Entertainment and released on May 5th of 2022. Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 is 3 times bigger than the previous entry and sees you diving into the toy factory deeper than you probably should. New horrors await alongside the pink bending spider-like mommy longlegs. After the success of Poppy Playtime 1, I figured it may be pretty difficult to come up with another renowned enemy like Huggy Wuggy, but Mommy Longlegs proved to be quite the acclaimed adversary. The toy line continues as you get enraptured in the mysteries of what happened at Playtime Co. in this next thrilling adventure. Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 starts off right where the last game ended and sees you working with the titular doll Poppy a lot more this time around. You end up finding a train that can help you escape in the large play area meant for children, but unfortunately, you don't have the code for it. In order to get access to the different pieces of the code, you must play Mommy Longlegs' games as she eggs you onto different parts of the facility. I like how the story really starts to come together with this chapter. The areas in the game become less like empty hallways and more like real places where people worked and children played. The building gets more expansive and the lore to the overall plot is more absorbing.
A new plaything! Mommy heard that Miss Poppy was going to just give you the train code to escape. Now, how is that fun?
Gameplay elements of the first game are here and get a bit more complicated, adding more challenge and more thought-provoking strategies. The game's pacing is also strung out a lot better as well, with puzzles in between big encounters with Mommy Longlegs, which are hefty events that introduce even more fun mechanics. Gaining a new hand for your grab pack switches up expectations and is a good way to provide familiarity that doesn't break the flow of the gameplay but brings something new to the table at the same time. Overall, I really enjoyed this sequel. The engrossing story it was telling, the fun gameplay, and the creep factor is really entertaining, and it makes the future of the franchise look promising.
Yellow. Blue, yellow, blue.
I give Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 a 7 out of 10.
Yellow, blue, red.
Hi, I'm Bobby Bearhug. Want to know how much I love you? I love you to the moon back.
Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 is a horror game developed and published by Mob Entertainment and released on January 30th of 2024. The third entry of the series is even more expansive than the last, taking several hours to complete on your first go-around. There are a lot of more story beats, puzzles, and spine-chilling moments with possessed toys. The main antagonist this time around is a large purple cat, Catnap, that stalks your every move. While this is a perfect setup for the best entry in the series yet, Chapter 3 is a bit of a letdown. In Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, you go even deeper into Playtime Co. And when I say deeper, I literally mean underground. Underneath Playtime Co. was an on-site orphanage called Playcare, where kids had everything they needed from housing, a school, a play area, and a toy store. The more you get entangled in this web though, the more you find out what was actually going on here with the kids and the toy testing. Poppy continues to help you along with your new friend Ollie, who communicates with you through a telephone as you try to escape the clutches of Catnap and various other frightening entities.
Wrong. We're actually here to help.
I feel like a lot about this game just doesn't work. All of its ideas and designs don't meld together as you would want them to. You get additional hands to play with, which is fun, but the puzzles feel claustrophobic and annoying. They feel like those sliding tile puzzles. You can see what you need to do, but you don't have the patience to do it. The story and overall pacing feels borked as well. There are moments that seem to be heavily influenced by both BioShock and PT, and they feel super out of place. The inclusion of analog horror elements doesn't really sit right with me either. VHS collectibles are more compelling, but whenever you go to listen to one, there's always just a boring image on the screen of the television.
Greetings, employees, and welcome to your first day here in Playtime.
The game sort of controls bad as well. There is sort of a stiffness to the controls that is hard to shake off. Running and crouching feels more complicated and not as snappy, oftentimes making you miss a jump or causing some awkward collision with the environment. You never obtain a flashlight this time around and only have one during a certain part of the game, which I found extremely confusing. I think the flashlight feature should have been something available for the entire game. The checkpoints this time around are also tremendously bad, sending you load screens away if you fail to do something correctly. I felt like a lot of aspects of this game are lazy. You're introduced to Playcare, this big creepy environment, but there's literally nothing to do or interact with in it. No secrets or anything. It just feels like a missed opportunity. Chapter 3 also suffers from a lot of bugs. I was constantly getting stuck in different parts of the environment. There was a chase scene that continued to not work properly. I had to look up the solution to figure out what I was doing wrong, and it turned out I was doing everything correctly, it's just that the game kept bugging out. I never really cared for the enemies either, except for one. Catnap can be pretty nerve-wracking at times, and his design is pretty cool, but his presence never proved to be menacing like Mommy Longlegs or even Huggy Wuggy. Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 is not as impactful as Chapter 2, but it is still a fun game. I give Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 a 6 out of 10.